Om Shanti, 23rd January 1970. Everyone should have the experience that you are speaking whilst in a bodiless stage beyond sound. Success is not depend on the lecture but on your stage. Do you have the experience that you are completed to speak simply because of service? When service finishes, the stage of coming into sound will also finish. In bracket, a group from Bombay was talking directions from Bap Dada about a conference that was to take place there. What speciality is needed in the service that you are doing nowadays? You have been giving lectures for many years anyway. But now, what avyakt consciousness do you have to put into the lectures so that whilst you are speaking, everyone has the experience that you are speaking whilst in a bodiless stage beyond sound? Now, there should be this newness in this conference. Those speakers should visually appear to be different from the Brahmin speakers, even from a distance. Only then will the conference be successful. Even if a new person comes into the gathering, he should have the feelings, even from a distance, that the speaker is a unique person. Others have the power of speech that simply remains a pleasure for the ears. But whatever you speak, whilst being stable in an avyakt stage, it should not only be pleasing to the ears, but it should also be pleasing to the mind. There are many who relate things that simply please the ears. However, until now, there is no one in the world who can give that sweetness to the mind. The Father has revealed Himself to you children, but you children now have to be revealed to the world outside. So, this conference should not take place in an ordinary way. The pictures should also seem to be alive. The living being makes the corporeal feelings clear. In the same way, the picture should come alive and grant visions. A picture that is lifelike and reveals real feelings is liked by everyone. It is not a question of superficial art, but together with the superficial, the internal should be the same. Bap Dada wishes to see this newness. Speaking less should itself perform a great task. There is the system and custom of the Brahmins. Pay attention to how you can make this conference unique. There should be subtle life in the images too, so that people have that feeling from a distance. Otherwise, how will so many subjects be created? The subjects that are created are not created just through words, but through the internal stage. Only that is called internal happiness. All of you have seen the result up to now of how those who came through the avyakt stage have continued to move along easily from the beginning and are free from obstacles. But for those who have continued to move along on the basis of something else as well as the avyakt stage, it is seen that they have had many obstacles and difficulties and have had to make hard effort. This is why now create such subjects who on the basis of the foundation of an avyakt stage easily attain their aim in a short time. The more you remain an easy effort maker and in the avyakt stage, the more you will be able to make others as yourself. So now we will see the result of this conference. The conference can be on any topic, but your stage should be of the top level. If your stage is of the top level, you can adjust the topic accordingly. Success is not depend on your lectures, but on your stage. Lectures means cleverness in the use of language, and there are many such people in the world, but only you are the ones who will give the experience of the power within the soul. So, you now have to bring about this newness. When you perform any task, first, it is essential to make the atmosphere subtle. Just as you pay attention to all the other decorations, similarly, this is the main decoration. But what normally happens is that whilst moving along, there is a lot of extroversion at that time. Therefore, because of that later atmosphere, you do not have the result you want. You people think a great deal. We will do this. We will do it like this. But at the last moment, when you see a lot of work, you become extroverted. In the same way, those who listen to you say at that time that it is very good, but then they too very quickly become extroverted. This is why you should keep your program such that anyone who comes first experiences the subtle influence. This is the method for the success of the conference. You will have to create this atmosphere a few days prior to the conference. It isn't that you have to create it just on the day. Only when you purify the atmosphere will there be a newness visible. You were able to see the spirituality in the corporeal body, even from a distance. Were you not? So, there should be spirituality visible in the corporeal body of the children. If the result of the press conference is good, you can go ahead with the conference. But first, you have to meet them and make them your helpers. This is essential. It makes a lot of difference whether you make them do something for you at the time of need, or whether you make them your helpers before the time of need. Generally, attention is paid to time. Now, if you keep the line of your intellect clear, everything will become clear. You have this in your exhibition. You receive an answer when you put the switch on. In the same way, when the line of effort is clear, as soon as you press the switch of thoughts, it happens practically also. You will continue to have such an experience. You simply need the power to control your thoughts. Whether you call it the original inspiration through Bap Dada or the pure response you receive, it becomes mixed because there are many waste thoughts. If you have the power to control wasteful thoughts, you will be able to see that response clearly. In the same way, if the intellect is a translate, it will be able to see the response of everything clearly and accurately. It will not be mixed. Those who do not have wasteful thoughts can increase their avyakt stage a lot more. You should have pure thoughts, but you must also have the power to control them. There is a majority with many storms of wasteful thoughts. When you begin any task, a very good sample of it is created. You have to keep the sample of this conference in front of everyone. Everyone should have the experience that they have come to the subtle reason. If everyone has the feeling of the subtle reason, that will become a time bomb. You have to give others to experience of what the avyakt stage is. Everyone should see the clock of the time in your activity. You are going as the clock of the time, just as Sakar Baba became the clock of the time. In the same way, whilst having a body, you have to strike the hour of the avyakt stage. This is the best service of all. You have to teach everyone the lesson of what the experience of the avyakt stage is whilst in the corporeal body in a practical way. Acha. You have to become a bead and be threaded in the thread of the rosary of the love of Bap Dada and the Divine Family. I am a bead that is threaded in the thread of love. You should have this intoxication. Where are beads kept? Where are beads kept? The beads of the rosary are kept with great care and cleanliness. People lift them up with great care and cleanliness. You have to consider yourself to be such an invaluable jewel. In bracket, someone asked for some advice for service. They will not be served through words, but when your activity is full of impact and they see that transformation, they will be drawn to you. Some have arrogance, so their arrogance of words will come into conflict with your words, but they will not be able to come into conflict with your practical life. And so, this is the instrument with which to explain to such people. Make the atmosphere subtle. You should make the atmosphere of all the centers very magnetic, so that whoever comes will be able to see only the subtle reason. Anyone should experience from a distance that this is light in the middle of the house. A light gives light from a distance. It draws everything to itself. So, there is success only when you are visual like a light. Do you have the experience of the avyakt stage having come to the avyakt bhatti? What will you do with the experiences that you have here? Will you take them with you or will you leave them behind? Make them such companions that No matter how much someone tries to separate you from this avyakt attraction, they are not able to do so. You have made the Lockic family into an alokik family, haven't you? There shouldn't be the slightest Lockic awareness. When you shed one body and take another, you are not aware of anything of the previous birth. So, here also you have died a living death. So, your drishti and attitude of the previous birth should be finished in the same way. Alokik service takes place only when you fill the Lockic with spirituality. What alokik service do you do? You are doing the service of forgiving the connection. You are doing the service of forgiving the connection of the soul with the powerhouse. When a connection has to be made between two wires, the rubber insulation has to be removed first. In the same way, your first task is to consider yourself a soul and become detached from the awareness of the body, and to make others detached from the consciousness of their bodies. How many main subjects do you have here, and what are they? There are 4 main subjects: knowledge, yoga, dharana, and service. Which is the main subject in that? Have you accumulated the stock of peace from here? Do you know how you can receive blessings? The more you become soul conscious, the more blessings you receive even without asking. You do not receive any blessings in a physical way. Here, you receive them automatically. If you did not have blessings from Bap Dada, how could you have reached this far? Bap Dada is giving blessings to the children at every second. However, those who take these blessings keep with themselves eternally only as much as they take. Acha, Om Shanti.